Welcome to the Power Zone Sports Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about
previewing the upcoming NFL season.
Please like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter. And I'll give this podcast to my brother.
We have to begin this podcast with a stunning news about Andrew Luck. The number one pick in the 2012 NFL Draft has decided he's had enough of the NFL after 5 seasons. Andrew Luck, who was one of the most polished quarterback prospects out of Stanford University, and Andrew Luck, he always looked like he was going to be a star in this league, but ultimately it looked like the Colts' inability to protect Andrew Luck with an offensive line was ultimately the undoing of not only Andrew Luck's professional career, but the Indianapolis Colts franchise. Andrew Luck, that guy's been a real Iron Man of the league despite all his injuries, and he missed the entire 2017 season after he had shoulder surgery, and he was the comeback player of the year after he led the Colts to their first playoff appearance in 2014. He is retiring at the age of 29, and he is now joining, I believe, Jim Brown and Barry Sanders as running backs to retire at right when they are about to step away in their prime seasons. It is a shock, no doubt. 29 years old, it's a shock that he has decided he has had enough. But when you're banged up like that, that is too bad. And it shows the value of an offensive line. The Indianapolis Colts should invest in an offensive line, especially now. One of the great quarterbacks is deciding to call it a career because of it. It reminds me so much of David Carr with the Houston Texans, getting sacked 76 times in his rookie season. But it is just, you don't know the value of a good offensive line until your star quarterback suffers an injury because he's unable to get enough protection. And unfortunately, that seems to be the case with Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. Jacoby Brissett, the man was Tom Brady's backup in New England, and now he'll be the starter. All right, so it's now week 3 of the NFL season, and apologies for the long delay. A lot has been going on, but we're just going to get started with week 3 of the NFL season. So the Thursday night game that took place between Jacksonville and Tennessee, I've been impressed so far with the Jaguars' backup quarterback named Gardner Minshew. He has the coolest, not only does he have the coolest name, he also has the coolest mustache in the NFL. Minshew was drafted in the 6th round of this year's NFL draft, same round as some guy named Tom Brady in 2001. Of course, Jacksonville lived up to their name of Sacksonville with 9 sacks of Tennessee quarterback Marcus Mariota. And the Jaguars got a big win in their home stadium. So, good win for the Jaguars and a good way to start off week 3 of the season. And of course, the Cowboys they've had it pretty easy so far. 2-0 on the season. Big wins over the Giants and the Redskins. Huge home win against the Giants and a big road win against the Redskins. And now they play the Dolphins. And biggest question I have for them will be, will they take Miami seriously? Miami, they are not a good team. They are trying to... Everybody seems to want to get off the sinking ship that is the Miami Dolphins. They just traded away one of their cornerbacks to Pittsburgh, and it seems like they may not be the only player who wants to get off that boat in Miami. They have moved to make Josh Rosen their starter for this week, and he's not the only quarterback in the league who lost their starting job. as Eli Manning lost his starting job with the New York Giants. The Giants deciding to put in Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones will be the starter for the Giants again when they play the Buccaneers tomorrow. So the Daniel Jones era has begun in New York, and the Eli Manning era, the Manning era, period, appears to be over in the NFL. And this will now be the time where Giants fans, a lot of them have been very cordial. They've thanked Eli for the 2 Super Bowls that he gave him at the expense of Tom Brady. But it's going to be very interesting to see how will Daniel Jones fare in this league. He got to start in garbage time of Week 1 against the Cowboys, and we'll see how he does in his first NFL start. Giants took a lot of flack from teams around the league, fans around the league, for picking Daniel Jones so high, but the Giants liked what they saw in this kid, so we'll see how he does in his first start. Of course, the Jaguars, Jalen Ramsey, their cornerback, the best corner in the league, according to some folks, and apparently he's had a falling out with the team, and he wants to go elsewhere. And the Jaguars want 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey. He's probably going to go somewhere else. But who's want to put a price that steep on him, put 2 first-rounders on him? I could maybe see a first-rounder definitely going to Jacksonville, but that's a steep price. Some teams will make a move if the price is 1 first-round pick. I could think immediately of Amari Cooper going from the Raiders to the Cowboys for a first-round pick. But 2 first-round picks this year and then following year, that's a steep price, and I'm not really sure if anyone would make a move on that. So we will find out. But it's going to be interesting. Now we're going to move on here to a little bit of baseball. We had crazy battle for the NL Central taking place this week between the Cardinals and the Cubs. Of course, 2 big home runs today hit by the Cardinals off of the Cub closer Craig Kimbrell, and the Cardinals ended up defeating the Cubs, and the Cubs look like they are not going to win the NL Central this year. Looks like their quest to win the Central will be over in this one, as it was a 9-8 victory for the Cardinals against the Cubs. 2 big home runs against Cub closer Craig Kimbrell, and it looks like the NL Central Division will be won by St. Louis, but the wild card is fading as well with every loss, and with every loss, the calls are getting louder for Joe Madden to be out as manager of the Cubs, and the calls are growing louder for someone else to take over. But I have a problem with some of these lineups that he has put out there, especially with the hobbled Anthony Rizzo leading off for the Cubs. He is our power bat, but he is also dealing with a hobbled ankle. But he hit a home run on Thursday, but it was only a solo home run because he's leading off the ball game. But he cost the Cubs a run on the base paths because of his injury on Thursday. But he's got to get that ankle's got to get better, and for Rizzo, certainly hope he recovers from that. But the Cubs need him in the lineup. But batting him leadoff, that's a bit, I don't understand that move at all. But Cubs need to do something to get back in it. Their bullpen is a mess. But the Cubs, they're running out of time. They're running out of chances, and it just looks like it's getting ever closer to the end of the season for the Cubs. We've had teams that have wrapped up their divisions already. The Dodgers wrapping up the National League West, and the Yankees ended up winning the American League East, and the Atlanta Braves have won the National League East. So congratulations to those 3 teams. Of course, the Yankees had a giant amount of huge amount of players on the injury list, but next man up, and the Yankees end up winning the American League East. And, of course, anytime the Yankees are in the playoffs, they are a dangerous team. Of course, their offense, guys like Aaron Judge, Gregorius, they are great players, and the team is great. Gio Urshela, another great player. We will see how the Yankees do in October, of course. But for the Braves, how about the young stud Ronald Acuna? He has definitely been a spark plug for the Braves, and the Braves, now that they have won the division, they are looks like they'll play the winner of the NL Central, which right now looks like it would be St. Louis. So that will be a good series. Acuna, 21 years old, he's hit 41 home runs so far in the season. What a special player he is already at only 21 years of age.
Thanks for listening to the Power Zone Sports Podcast. Please like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter link will be down below. And I'll see you next time in the next podcast. Bye!